Hey, welcome everybody to the halfway point, episode number 26 of Cardboard and Cold Ones. My name is Sammy Thunder.
And I am Jason, the everyday card collector.
And today, another episode of Cardboard and Cold Ones, see if I remember, where we raise our glasses and cheers to the legends we admire on the cardboard we collect.
Absolutely. In honor of you, my friend, welcome to the 3,000 sub club.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
No one deserves it more than you.
Oh, thank you very much.
I kind of look at this one as a celebration. We've got an awesome guest. We're going to have some fun. This will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we got 4 cards to give away throughout the hour or so, and I want to, and part of the whole VR request, or just the whole process of it, was to kind of celebrate the shirts.
Yes.
Of our guest who has made these really awesome shirts. And so before we bring him in, let me just see who's here. Just kind of do a little rundown. Andrew is numero uno for tonight on taking the throne, as he usually does. Jacob is here. Jim is here. Peter B is here. Mike Good is here, who I finally I saw again at the Philly show. Had a nice chat with him. Beat Up Cards, I always love that name. Diamond Gems. John is here. Peacemaker is here. Ruben is here. Scotty live streams. Okay. I guess you're sort of close. Pastor Craig is here. Tony is here. Matt is here. 4 weeks until Strongsville. Jeremy is here. Got a big crowd tonight. Jeff. Keith is here, and Killebrew Kurt. So, welcome everybody. I think we have a fun hour on our hands, and without further ado, let's bring in our guest, Mr. Reindeer Studios. Oh, let me unmute him.
Cheers,
Scott.
guys.
Cheers.
Mr. Scott, how are you, my friend?
Good. How are you guys?
Very good.
Good to hear.
So, as it was mentioned, who was that mentioned it? Oh, Matt. Matt mentioned 4 weeks until Strongsville. And, it's probably less than 4 weeks at this point. It's really, I guess it's right on the nose, but today's March 13th. So, the show starts on the 11th. So, we're looking at technically, I guess, right, little, just under a month. If you want to be a little more glass half full sort of mind, is sort of, sort of thinking there. But, I was listening today to the, this is an interview that was done a little while back, but I was listening today to the, in the car driving home, the interview that Theo and John gave on the For Collectors channel to the Strongsville team. And it definitely got me excited about this show. I think it's, what do you guys think? As far as last year was great, but do you think this year is going to be better?
I think this year is going to be about tenfold of what last year was. I think last year was big for this show, and Scott can speak upon that more because Scott's been going to the show longer. That was my first time going. I am super excited. Not so much, the show's awesome, and I'm excited to pick some stuff up, but I am super excited to meet so many people who I'm going to get to meet for the first time. So that's what I'm excited about. But I know, Scott, you could speak upon it. You've been going to the show for years, correct?
Yep. And all you jerks are like honing in on my territory.
It's exactly how it is. You could blame Chris from Missouri for that.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great. Who are you excited about meeting, Jason?
I've got a ton of people I want to meet. Tony, Southern Collectors, great guy.
Mm-hmm.
And we chat quite often, either via Instagram or text. And we've never officially met. We did not meet at the National last year, so I'm pretty pumped to meet him. Jay, Average Vintage Collector, I've grown to become friends with just through texts and having him on the show, so I'm excited to meet Jay as well. I don't know who all is coming. There's a ton of new channels that I think might be coming. I think Justin might be coming from Go Crazy Cards, I think, and he's kind of part of that St. Louis group. But I'm excited, even those who I haven't seen in a while or since the National, right? You guys, quite honestly.
Don Mossy.
Yeah, Don Mossy Puppets. I gotta give him a little shout out. But I'm excited to see everyone. I'm excited to. And that's what I loved about the show more than anything last year. And it sounds so cliche. Everybody pumps it like that, but it really is the best part of the show, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. I think it's really gonna be special. I love the fact that Chris has on Friday is gonna have the ballroom, which is going to be much better than the business room that we had last year,
Right.
which had literally no air conditioning at all. It smelled like musk.
Right.
And this year at least will be a bigger space that will smell like musk and
No,
stale and maybe some flat beer as well.
that
Yes.
ballroom is big enough. It's good.
Yeah.
Didn't the show used to be in that room, Scott?
It did. It did. And then Saturday, of course, shameless self promotion here as on behalf of the Four Collectors Group, because I have become the visual spokesperson. So we need a face to represent to visually represent it. I am the PR guy for this. But no, seriously, obviously Saturday is going to be the vintage trade night that is circulating around, all the promotion for it, and that's going to be a lot of fun. We have I'd say most of the ballroom rented, I think, and then we have another kind of a smaller room for I think where all the food is going to be located.
Mm-hmm.
And Scott is going to be setting up a table as well for his artwork and his T-shirts.
Correct.
So great opportunity to meet your best friend for the first time.
Sammy freeze up on us.
Did I?
He looks good with his eyes closed like that, though.
No, he's good with me.
He's good with you?
Yeah.
You good there, Sam? Okay.
See, good.
Yep, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, you can hear me. Free beer. Well, we're not providing the beer. We're providing the pizza, and I think there's a beverage, but I don't think it's alcoholic. If you want to.
I am curious, and I don't mean to cut you off, Sammy. What is the situation for the gathering? Because last year you had to go up to the bar.
Yeah,
and
that's a question for Chris.
Yeah, it was pretty chaotic, and I think some people brought their own beer. I won't call out who, but,
yeah.
And if that needs to be
some people in this chat.
Right. Some people in this chat, or maybe even on screen. but I just, is that allowed? I don't want to break rules or anything if that's the case. So,
speaking of the guy himself, there he is, the one who brought the beer. I will not mention his name. You can read it.
I may have done the same and partook in that a little bit.
I did too, man. I brought beer.
Yeah, and I just wanted to, I don't want to, as this gets bigger and bigger, I don't want to jeopardize anything if it's the bar or anything of that nature. I want to do it right.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I say this loosely. I think they're prepared for us. Because I called just to confirm confirm the room, and they had it, and they were like, "Oh, you coming for the sports card show?" I'm like, "Yep." And so that kind of gives me a little bit of confidence that they're kind of preparing and knowing that it's going to be a lot of card nerds walking in their doors.
Right, and my understanding is different owners. That particular facility has been bought out. So,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I heard that. My understanding is it's different owners. So
I can't wait to see it. Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
That's my room was like $900 a night because Scott knew it was me.
Yeah.
That's where all that Etsy money's going to. Hotels, Scott.
So Scott, you're gonna have a table. I'm kind of excited about that. I already have some things on. I'm living this life in debt. Like I have to square up with Sammy. I have to square up with you when I get to Strongsville, and I've got a purchase already made. So I'm pretty excited.
Got a lot of tabs running.
Yeah, that's why I quit showing me cards, Sammy. I deliberately try not to call you when you're showing cards that you're selling.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, if there's something you like. So. But I'll tell you what. Why don't we do the first card, and then we'll come back to the next one. So I'm going to start with Lee May.
Excellent.
The Cincinnati Reds, and so that will be the first giveaway. Let me see how I'm going to do this.
You had to have a ton of. I saw a ton of responses.
Yeah, no, I think I got everybody here. So let me bring the screen up. Hopefully my computer does not crap out on me, because sometimes it does not like the fact that I'm running multiple things at the same time. All right, so you guys can see it now, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, let me, where am I going? I'm going to shuffle him a few times. So this is for the Lee May card. Let's go. And the winner's Reindeer Studios.
No.
Oh, that's Steve with a PH.
Look at that. Well, bring it to Strongsville. You could just bring it to Strong. Which reminds me,
Yeah.
I did a giveaway on my year anniversary on 4 collectors, and
Yeah.
everyone was going to Strongsville except 2 people, and they shot me an email, and I totally forgot. Chris is one of them. CRT Cards. So if they're on or if they're watching, I'm shipping their stuff out this weekend because I totally forgot about it until you started doing this giveaway. Sam, I'm like, oh God, I gotta send 2 things out. So I don't want them to think I forgot about them, and that's why that's a little public service. I'm gonna send it out.
So I don't think Steven is here, but Steven, I think he knows. I mean, he has my number, so he can always reach out to me that way, and I'll let him know afterwards.
He's smiling somewhere.
What's that?
He's smiling somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So congratulations, Steven. And we'll come back to another card in a little bit. So he gets the Lee May card, and I'll just kind of throw that into the pile of stuff that I'm bringing to Strongsville with me.
Right. Now, Scott, you kind of are in like non-buying mode like I've been, correct? You're kind of just saving. And,
yeah.
So you haven't picked, like I haven't picked up a lot lately. Have you picked up anything lately?
No. I not only am I saving for a big card, but like I'm also poor because artists aren't, wealthy people. Right. But like I'm loving life.
Awesome. And things are going well full time, right?
Mm-hmm. That's like I'm not at all complaining about like my job because I love it.
That's fantastic. Well, I'm a shareholder, so I hope it's doing well. So. What do we got here? I saw someone taking a dig on me, which I love. Finish the card.
Keep saying that you owe money all over town.
Yeah, Keith is right, man. Keith is right. It's to you two on the screen first and foremost.
By the time you leave Ohio, they're going to have a warrant for your arrest.
Right. There is a big card that I have purposely been saving for, and I'm not divulging in what that card is. Mm-hmm. And I may have a line on it already. So that means even like. I'm going to Strongsville. The purchase will happen there, but at the end of the day, then that's gonna be it, So.
And Scott, you have a card as well. You're not divulging yet, but there is something in the pipeline.
You know what it is, but
I do. But yeah.
Great. I thought I was your bestie. I don't know what it is.
There's certain rankings of besties, and
right.
I'm
also, Sammy was there when.
Yeah,
I was there.
Convenience, Scott, is what you're saying.
Well, I was there for it, so that's why I know. Otherwise, I would not know this.
Yeah.
Now, what about you, Sammy? Because now you're selling, and you don't have to divulge cards in particular, particularly if they're scarce. But do you have something in mind?
I have a list of all these Mathewson postcards, but it's going to be tough to find those. I don't know if the Strongsville is going to be the place for it, but the National probably will be, at least for one of them. Potentially a 1915 Cracker Jack Mathewson would be great, but I know like in a PSA 1 or an SGC 1, that would be phenomenal. I saw like somebody had one on Facebook, but it had, 1950 Mathewson. But where was it the position or the team name that was like literally someone took a Sharpie and like Sharpied over it.
Right.
And I was just like so devastated to see that. And they were selling it for like $5,000, which is a crap ton of money, obviously. But,
right.
I mean, it's just something about like I've seen a Mathewson Cracker Jack with a hole punch sell for that amount. And so, yeah, to each their own. Everybody has a preference.
Yeah, that set has gotten way crazy. I mean, the commons and low grade are, $400, $500. So
There's something about it. There's just I don't know. I
I would love to. There are two that are on my list, but I don't think they're going to get purchased at Strongsville either. So we'll see.
yeah, but I don't know. There's so many distractions. There's a bunch of auctions that are happening now, and there's like temptations all over the place. So there's one card and one auction that I really want, but I spoke to Orlando, getting his advice on something, and um, he's telling me like just patience will pay off. I'm like, okay, so you're right. That's a good way to look at it.
Absolutely.
And really, I've been buying so much lately that I really should just kind of sit down and appreciate the purchases that I've recently made, which I do. And I brought them out here. I mean, the Bobby Thompson Coca-Cola, my grandfather's favorite player.
That was a Chapel purchase, right?
That was, yeah.
Did you see his inventory in Philly?
I did. Yeah,
Okay.
I recorded it. And it was great. I mean, and then the big surprise from Chapel's table was that, the photo pack of Mays. So that was a big surprise. It's unfortunate that it's kind of on a tilt. So if I do it like this, then it looks sort of straight. But that was a nice surprise to see that there. You just don't see those that often.
So we have our big show this weekend, the Chicago Sports Spectacular.
Right.
And
Mitchell's going, right?
Mitchell's going. I went last, I was still in saving mode the last time I was here and ended up buying a bunch of stuff, but I am not going this weekend. I have family obligations. So I'm kind of bummed, but kind of happy at the same point in time because I would spend money there. And I'm like, all right, this is, time to knock it down. And we're down to several weeks of savings here. So I want to bring as much as possible to Strongsville. So
temptation is real, man.
Yeah. So there'll be no my biggest video that ever took off was me filming that card show. So that won't happen because I won't be there. But, we will be spending money this weekend, but it'll be on family stuff, which is okay. So that doesn't count as part of the budget.
Yep. So you're getting there Thursday, afternoon or?
I'm planning on being there Thursday afternoon. I'm going to leave my house. I'm driving, and it's about 5.5, 6 hours, but I'm probably going to leave my house at about 6 a.m. So Thursday I'll be relaxed. Friday the show kicks off. To me it's just not quite as hectic as the National. Like when I was in Cleveland, I was drained by day 2. It's a lot. And I feel like, the last time it was in Chicago, I didn't know you guys. I wasn't part of this community yet. So I only went for one day. And that was the first National I ever went to where I went several days. But now Chicago, I'm curious, and I can get Scott's opinion on this again because the National was in your area last year. So you were playing host. Did you find that more stressful or more relaxing?
It wasn't relaxing by any means, but I don't want to say it was fun. It wasn't stressful.
Right. I just, because I feel like that's going to be me this year. That's what I want to do, kind of what you did. If someone needs something, and I'm kind of already doing a few things, smaller things that are lined up. But, I don't know. And last year I spent more money at Strongsville than I did at the National. And I anticipate doing the same this year. I think Strongsville will be my bigger spend than the National.
Right.
Which is kind of backwards, I think, for most people, if I'm not mistaken. Unless you're petty and you're breaking out a checkbook.
Yeah, it's we've this whole thing. There's been a lot of discussions as far as approach and strategies, and do you buy 4? Like, if you have a big list, do you buy 4 really good cards, or do you buy the one, Minute Bowl 500-pound version of him card?
Right. Well, this is my first time ever doing that. This is the first time in my collecting history of saving for a particular card. I've never done that before. And I go to shows without a strategy. And I might have a few cards in mind, but I can pivot quickly because I'm a broad collector and I want everything. So it's very easy to get distracted quickly. But this is the first time I've stayed focused enough where I'm gonna land the card that I want. I'm pretty certain, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Did you say you collect broads?
Yeah, right. I'm gonna. That's very sexist of me. I would never say that, Scott.
Okay.
Broad collector.
That was very like. Yeah, Scott was channeling some Mookie there, some Mookie energy, or broad cycles, right? Whatever those backs were.
Right. Well, you're kind of specific too, Scott. I mean, you're pretty pinpoint as far as your collecting habits go too. Both of you guys are disciplined, and we've had this conversation, Sammy. I'm far from that. So.
Yeah, I mean, Scott, you're pretty exclusive to Guardians Indians.
Right.
And you don't. What's that?
And naps.
Naps. I'm sorry. Naps, of course. Yeah. You know, they have you guys, either of you, read The Glory of Their Times?
I have not. I know. Yeah, Scott has. We've talked about that.
It seems like
what are you doing here, Jason?
I know. I don't know anything about sports, Scott. I just want to hang out with cool guys.
Rick is being the devil on your shoulders and wants you to spill the beans.
I think Rick will like it. I'm pretty certain Rick will like it.
That's even worse. Now he's not gonna. he's just gonna keep trolling until you tell.
I'm pretty certain he probably has it, but Rick has everything. So.
Yep. But I'm sorry to go back to the Glory of Their Times. Throughout the most of the book, from what I've read so far, like everybody talks so highly of Nap Lajoie. Like they just say he, I think Rube Marquardt is from Cleveland, and he talks about Nap Lajoie and just speaks so highly about him, and how Marquardt had to, like him and his father had they had a disagreement. His father was this well-to-do engineer. He's like, "You're going to be an engineer just like me." And he goes, "No, I want to play baseball." He's like, "No, that's a low-life game." But obviously, I don't know if you've read that. Yeah, Jason, you got to read that story. The Marquardt story is one of my favorites that I've read so far because it is really it's a compelling story.
Is that the story where he stayed in the firehouse?
Yes, in Chicago.
Yeah. Maybe I was watching someone and I heard the whole story.
Well, there's also there's also a YouTube video which I think it's about an hour long, and then there's also an audiobook version. I'm sure they covered that a little bit in that video.
Right. I think did Joe Wood do something on it too? Wood Collector Doug. I think I watched his video on it. Us uneducated folk here from Illinois. We don't read much, so.
But
we got people guessing. Oh. Yeah. What, do I look like a millionaire, Keith? Come on.
Yep. But all right, let's do a second card now. We're gonna do the Mazeroski. Should we do Brock or Mazeroski? Who should we do next?
I like both of them. Who's left? Brock, Mazeroski, and who?
Oh, come on, man. You got to...
you got the Maze.
The grand finale.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I think you got to go Maz.
Go Maz, then. Yeah, I agree. I agree with Scott.
All right, so for anybody that's curious, this one actually probably has the best cut out of all of them. So I'm going to go with the Mazeroski, and then we'll do Brock, and then we'll do the Maze. So let me bring this screen back.
Please tell me, Scott, because I didn't have time because I was working late. You didn't grab any 91 flares. I wanted to so quickly.
All right, good luck, everybody. This is for the Maz.
Now, did you take Steven off?
I did. Tommy Hazelwood 9151. Congratulations, Tommy Hazelwood.
Nice.
So, if I don't know if he's in here or not, but I'll put my email address in the chat. That way you can watch the chat and reach out to me. So, congratulations, and we will come back to the last two shortly.
Now, how many people did you have, Sammy? Do you know how many total?
60-something.
Wow, that's great.
That's crazy.
That is fantastic.
Sorry, I'm just kind of writing it down as we're going so I don't forget who got what.
Scott, what are you bringing for your table?
We'll have shirts. We'll have my custom cards. I'll have some art. I'm going to bring all the T205 paintings.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
And you for sale as well, then, the paintings themselves?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe I won't go home with a card. Maybe I'll go home.
I'm bringing this, but it's sold.
Oh, it's sold already?
Yep. You can only guess who bought it.
So let me guess, Warren.
No.
Not Mookie.
Mookie bought it.
Oh,
Yeah,
Mookie. My next guest was going to be Tony.
Yeah, he was it Dobie, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he loves Dobie because Dobie was born in lived in Jersey.
Right.
Played at Hinchcliffe Stadium, or is it Hinchcliffe? I think it's Hinchcliffe Stadium, which is in Paterson, New Jersey. Which they had a card show over there not too long ago.
I don't know. I chatted you, Scott. I think he's got the wrong hat on. That's just me. But I think he's more known for being a White Sox.
Actually, that photo, he was in a White Sox uniform.
Was he really?
The reference I used, and I like the photo, so I just pushed it out.
That's awesome.
And Warren just volunteered to work at my table.
That's amazing.
Warren's good help. I like him.
Yeah, he was there at the Net 54 gathering. I didn't realize that he was coming, so that was nice surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I heard his voice in your video. I said, "Is that Warren?" In the back, I think I chatted.
Warren D in the
comments. I'm like, "Is that Warren?"
And then we both got the flu.
Yeah, somehow I came away with just a really bad back, but no flu.
I'd actually probably take the flu. I know a bad back; it's brutal.
That whole situation was weird, but the flu sucks.
Yes, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I'm a little on the hefty side, so that's probably not helping my back issues any. So
yeah,
I'm big boned.
But let's see what else is going on. Oh yeah, I'll show these. I've shown these already.
Yeah. So you're gonna you're looking for the rainbow, I assume. There's 4 total, correct?
Yeah. Let me see if I can. There we go. Yes, there supposedly is a 3rd one with the postcard back. But yep, the only other person that I know that has a Pinkerton from the same set is Eric.
Yes.
The toy collector. He has Huey Jennings.
Is he coming to Strongsville? Does anybody know?
Yep, he'll be there.
Good.
This one, yeah. So the blank back was found by Garrett. Ballpark Memories.
You mentioned in a video he's setting up, isn't he?
He is setting up, and he'll be on my 4 collectors rotation in a few weeks with Stan from Stan's Vintage Cards.
Very cool. Very cool.
It's going to be a veteran dealer who's set up multiple times. I think he's actually from Ohio.
Yep.
And then Garrett, the first timer in Strongsville.
Well, we've got a local dealer here who's pretty well known in the vintage community, and he sets up at Strongsville. He was there last year, and I've bought off of him in the past. But prior to having the channel, I really didn't interact with dealers. I just kind of purchased and knew, hey, there's that guy. And since I've had this channel, I've had good conversations with him and had got to know him a little bit better. He actually runs a show just over the Illinois border in Wisconsin, in Oak Creek, Wisconsin, and his name is Tony. So I know he's going to be there, and I told him about he actually had a room outside of the hotel, and I told him, I said, hey, I gave him the Chris from Missouri info. I'm like, tell him who you are. There's rooms booked off. So I have to find out if he actually did that. So I hope he did. So we'll have some local flavor there, some Chicago flavor.
Oh, so he's setting up as well?
Yeah, he sets up. Yeah, he set up last year at Strongsville as well, and I believe he'll be there this year.
What's his whole thing? Is it what's his focus on?
So he'll flip from time to time. So he'll break out a ton of binders of all the sets for set builders,
Okay.
And then he'll get specific, in his showcases, it's specific to whatever he's purchasing. So last time I saw him, I actually purchased, I didn't bring anything to show, but I purchased Gaudi wide pen off of him, 38, 38. Yeah. 38, correct me if I'm wrong. Scott, wide pens are 38s, I think. Maybe 36s?
I think they're 36.
36. So 36 wide pen, Frankie Frisch off of them. But he had a ton of exhibit cards. He bought a big exhibit card collection, so he had a bunch of those. So it's kind of whatever it is. You'll see the standard stuff, the 52 tops to, 79 or whatever it is, or 80. But he's got some good stuff, and I like supporting him because there's one show we do pretty much every month here, and Mitchell and I, and then Steve Vintage on Vintage go to it quite a bit, and there's probably maybe 4 vintage dealers, and he happens to be one of them. So
is Steve going to Strongsville?
He is.
Nice.
So I'm excited, and
yeah,
he wasn't going to go initially. I think he's going, and John P, who's Jason is that fat daddy. No, is he talking beer, or is he just calling me a fat daddy?
It's hard to say. I have no idea.
I am a fat daddy, John, and this is Yingling, if you're talking beer. But I've been a fat daddy for 25 years.
There you go. So yeah, I know you already answered, Scott. Any new T-shirts in the works?
Yeah, I've always got plenty of ideas. I just got to find the time to finish them up.
Let me. I'm going to bring up your Etsy page. That's your primary store online, right?
Yeah.
So let me bring that up. I just want to kind of share it for anybody here.
No, the dealer's name is Tony, John, as I'm looking at the comments. Tony is the dealer.
So let me bring this up. So for anybody that doesn't have a shirt from Scott,
and Jeremy, I will be bringing shirts to the show.
But the shirts, like the new shirts, are not on here. Not on the website yet, right?
Not yet.
But
I gotta get the Colgan's shirt. You bringing those, Scott?
I think I have some.
Okay.
If there's anything specific you want, let me know, and I'll make sure to get it.
Okay.
3 people have. Yep, that's right. 3 people have this in their cart. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I mean, it's just so much variety here. I love that. I really like the Mexican thumb wrestling. My luchador. Cool. That's so funny. The lucha libre of thumbs.
Yeah, that one I did like probably 15 years ago.
Oh, the Menko shirt is awesome. No,
I do have a shirt, but that's the blanket.
Gotcha. I like the hat. I like the polar bear hat. You bringing those too, Scott?
If you want one, I can bring them, but you gotta let me know. All right,
I'll text you on the side what I'm.
Okay.
I love Joe Boo is in the middle. Don't eat the gum. So, and for those that are all about Midlife Nation, get the Greg shirt or the sweater.
You did Billy's shirts too, the design, right, Scott?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
And also Chris.
Yes.
So yes, folks, this is the primary way to get some of Scott's shirts. I'm just trying to go back to page 1, just so I can share the link in the chat for anybody that wants to check it out. So I'm just leaving that right there. Yep.
And Sammy, I appreciate that you made this a part of your giveaway here.
Yeah, man, of course.
I did see a nice bump in sales over the last couple of weeks.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Good. You're a legend, Scott. Don't be
so I appreciate you, Scott. Sammy, and I appreciate everybody who wore a shirt in their VR.
Yeah.
Unlike Jason.
Except for me, so I had to wear it today.
So I had a lot of ideas for how I wanted the giveaway to go, because initially I was trying to formulate it in my head. I'm thinking, all right, well, I can do a VR to where it's like a secret VR. So it was like the VR that Mike Petty does not want to watch. And so I was going to have everybody create VRs and just label it saying, don't let Mike Petty know. But then I was like, I don't, I needed to have a little bit more depth than that. So I kind of, then I thought, well, I love Scott's shirts. We get compliments on it all the time when I'm at shows, when I'm wearing it. And I thought that's a good way to kind of bring it all together, is to, let people know about Scott's shirts. And also, since a lot of the collectors with channels, a lot of those guys have shirts, and make it a lot more fun that way. So
And I got a big head, so I like to hear my name. I like to be called
any
out in
way
videos.
I can feed the ego, I'm happy to do that for you.
Scott, I'm trying to think, because Mangini said this to me once in a chat. He said, like, YouTube years are like dog years. So I've been doing this just a little bit over a year, and it feels like 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you are the first channel I was ever on, I believe. I'm not 100% certain, when we did our Cleveland White Sox.
Yeah, could have been.
Yeah, and I think you were the first one I was on. I don't think I was on maybe I was. Sam, were you doing chillin' chats and I was just jumping on? Like, I don't even know how that started.
I don't know. I can't remember when the first Chillin' Chat was.
Yeah, I mean, if someone said, "Well, how did you get hooked into Sammy?" I'd be like, I don't know. I can't remember.
Because I know I asked you. I said, "Hey, do you want to do a live stream kind of weekly thing, and where we drink beer and talk about baseball cards?"
Yeah. I'm gonna say no to that, right? Oh
yeah,
God,
man.
no.
Every Thursday, it's our dedicated time slot, man. I don't think we're fighting anybody for that. So
no, I think early on we were fighting Sports Card Radio. I know they were on.
Oh, were we?
Yeah, they were on it. They had a live.
But they're not. Oh, grape soda. That's
Sprecher.
so cool.
Is that Sprecher?
That is Sprecher.
Atta boy. Do they sell it there?
Yeah.
Really? Fantastic. Mm-hmm. Have you ever had Sprecher?
I've never heard of it.
So it's brewed out of Milwaukee. So I'm about an hour away from Milwaukee. So, and then I've got a summer home in Wisconsin, so I drink a lot of Wisconsin beers, and that's fantastic. They make awesome root beer, awesome soda. They make a lot of good stuff.
So I don't really like the anise in the root beer.
Okay.
So like theirs is like too much of that for me.
Right.
But like their sodas are great.
Yeah, I like their cherry cola a lot.
Yeah,
that's
good. Really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I'm bringing Spotted Cow to Strongsville, which is out of New Glarus, Wisconsin, and they do not sell in Illinois, but I have family in Wisconsin. So,
is it spiked?
No, it's not spiked. I don't drink, so I just picked up this.
Okay.
So I could fit in.
They actually used to, and they've since gone away. They've had a couple restaurants in Wisconsin. So if you're not familiar with Wisconsin, Lake Geneva is just over the border, and that's where like Al Capone used to go back in the day, and it's a real big inland lake in Wisconsin and a very popular touristy area. And they had a Sprecher restaurant there. It's where if you're not familiar, people from Illinois are called fibs. Are you familiar with that?
No.
All right. So Wisconsin people call us fibs, and I apologize because I'm going to cuss here for the first time. We are fucking Illinois bastards. So that's what they call us. All we do is come to their state, drink their beer, hunt on their land, fish on their lakes, and they have no problem taking our money, but they don't like us much. So most Packer fans call Bears fans fibs. So.
I remember going to, this was a few years ago, in Chicago, I went to the Wisconsin Supper Club. I think that's what it was called.
There's several of them. That's a big deal, depending on which one you went to. Some of them are very famously known or well known. I do want to go to Miller's Pub, and that's that bar that has the Bill Veck wall and has been around forever. It's right in the Loop in Chicago. But I explained to everybody, when we get to the National's in Rosemont, Illinois. That's a suburb. So to go to the city, it's not a hop skip. It's a half an hour away, and anticipate spending a good portion of your time there. So unless people are coming a couple days early or staying a couple days after, it's tough to get to the city. Like if you want to go to a game, you're going to go before or after the National because it's not convenient. I mean, there is an L or a train, we call it L. But it's not an easy hop skip. Are you were going to the National, right, Scott?
Yeah.
Are you booked already? For a room?
Eric's in charge of that, and I don't know if he's done it or not.
Oh, so Four Leaf?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are probably staying in a mansion, probably down the street or something like that. Then.
No. He travels a lot, so he gets discounts on rooms and stuff.
Right.
Are you guys doing that massive setup again? Like with the Misfits?
No, this is just going to be us in a hotel room, just two of us.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, there's Sammy.
Eric
Where
is
you?
yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. You can go ahead.
I was going to say that Eric is the unsung hero.
Yes.
At last year's national.
Yeah, that was pretty phenomenal. And then this year, I know it's so convenient. I know some people are staying. I think I saw Mike Moynihan staying by the airport, which is literally 5 minutes away. It's not far away. But the ideal situation is if you booked it early enough to be across the street. Sammy, the hotel you're staying at, I have connections with that hotel, so I haven't booked a room yet because I'm only a half an hour away. But I may call in a favor to a friend and say, get me a room for a couple of days there, and end up staying there. Because I've said it a couple of times, probably on Cardboard and Cold Ones. Initially, I talked to my wife and I said, I want to have some friends over, maybe have a barbecue. And, she's like, all right, that's fantastic. She's like, well, how many people are you thinking? I said, like 50. And she said, no. And she said, why don't you just book a room in Rosemont? I said, all right, maybe I'll do that instead. So.
All right, Jason, what's the best Italian beef?
In Chicago?
Mm-hmm.
I like Al's beef, if you're familiar with it.
Yep.
I like Al's a lot. A lot of people, it originally was in Chicago, actually in Villa Park, one suburb away from where I grew up. Portillo's, before it became national, was really good. Mm-hmm. There's another one called Bueno Beef, which is pretty good, but I like Al's beef a lot. That's probably my favorite.
Okay. I've had all three.
Yeah. So there's some. I will argue with any New Yorker on who's got better food, New York or Chicago. I will get down and dirty. Maybe not pizza necessarily, but food. I really think Chicago has phenomenal food.
So is it true that only the tourists eat the deep dish?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I will eat it. I think the last get together in 2023, I told my wife this. It was great. Mike and I think Chris were good enough to order Giordano's, which is a big chain, and I have another story with that particular chain. But they brought deep dish, and I remember there were no forks and there were no plates. And I said, guys, this isn't pizza. This is like eating a casserole. You need plates and forks. I got a kick out of it where that was sitting there, but you had to like eat it with your hands, and it's like this thick. It is very good. I do like Giordano's, but yeah, I don't really order deep dish. I order thin more times than that.
Okay, what about Pequod's?
What about what?
Pequod's.
What is Pequod's? I'm not familiar.
You've never been to Pequod's?
No.
Oh man.
Is that like, what is it?
That's pizza.
Oh,
it's more like it's thick, but it's not like it's like a pan pizza. It's not exactly.
Is it like middle of the road?
Yeah.
So deep dish is really thick, and I know they have like middle of the road.
Right.
They call it. Maybe that's what you're.
Pequod's is not as obnoxious as
okay.
Chicago deep dish.
Okay. Yeah, I've had like middle of the road at other facilities. Lou Malnati's is the big deep dish. That's probably the best deep dish. I like Giordano's, but there's so many places to go in the city. If you're going to go into the city, there are so many phenomenal food, so many phenomenal restaurants. And as a fat guy, I can really, I'm a connoisseur, so I can tell you what's good and what's not.
It's hard to be skinny living in Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what though. You guys can talk all you want about Chicago food, but you guys have not experienced a true night out of eating until you come to New Orleans.
I love New Orleans food.
Absolutely.
That probably my second favorite. Well, probably my first favorite because I live in Chicago. My wife and I used to go to New Orleans every year, and I absolutely love it. I got sick because I just knocked out about 3 dozen raw oysters when we were there once.
And Ruben is throwing some serious shade.
Who is?
Ruben.
Compared to the indicator of the food. He's right. And that ain't shade.
Oh
That's
my
fact.
God.
I'm okay with that.
We're apparently having a cooking show. I'll tell you what. Let's do card number 3. The
Okay.
Lou Brock. This is what Jason wants.
Yes.
It's also a really nice cut on this one. So
91 Fleer Lou Brock.
91 Fleer Lou Brock. Somehow he made it in the set. I don't know how. But let's go ahead. Let's bring the wheel. 1 sec. All right. The wheel is here. Shuffle a few times. Good luck. I like the noise that it makes.
Yeah, the fake needle spinning.
Mm-hmm. I think he's here.
Is that
Peacemaker.
Pastor Craig? Look
Yeah,
at that.
Peacemaker.
Oh, Peacemaker.
Yeah, I think he's here in the chat.
All right.
Dave always wins. Dave won on mine when I did one.
Are you still here, man? I hope he is, because he just won a Lou Brock card. The Lou Brock Fleer 91. Am I the only one who was excited about that?
I actually was.
I'm excited.
If you were right, the maze is always going to be, but like if it was second boat, that would have been the one. I'm like, oh yeah.
Let me see. I gotta make sure I put this in my notes app. Yeah, here he is.
Well, he's scoring my good luck. Right? He won. What did he win for me? 56 Robin Roberts, PSA 4, I think.
Hold on a second. I'm just writing this down. So, Dave, I'll just put my email again because you're gonna have to scroll up to find it. But
he's gonna be at Strongsville too, Sammy.
Oh, he is, Dave. Oh,
yeah.
Then Dave, just we'll square away at Strongsville if you're okay with that. Unless you want the Lou Brock now.
I'm pretty certain he's gonna be there.
Yeah, let's just do that. It's gonna be a lot easier that way, and yeah. I mean, listen, I get it. People are very excited about these Transagram cards. People want them immediately. It's the newest, hottest thing.
I'm still holding on to Keith. Keith won a card. I'm like, he's told me I'll be in Strongsville. I'm like, yeah, you'll get it then. My stuff was small. I'm like, I ain't shipping this. You'll get it when I see you.
Yeah, it's just easier that way. It's easier.
I haven't seen Mitchell since I did my giveaway, and he's like, "Hey," and he won one. I'm like, "Yeah, I know, Mitch." Cool. Actually, I have seen him. I just didn't bring it. I don't think.
Well, speaking of Mitchell, I listened to his Golden Age of Cardboard today on the way home. It was really good. I mean, he is. We had him on here, but he is very well spoken. And when he gets on a roll, talking about a particular topic that he knows so much about, there's no stopping him.
Yes, and the reality, and he's passionate about it. He represents Chicago well because I am not well spoken. I'm a knucklehead, but he does an awesome job, and he's just a great guy. He needs more. He needs more subs. I mean, he was one of the first channels I linked into, and he's just an awesome guy.
I guess we can wait another year to meet up. I'm sure he meant I can't wait to meet you guys. I can wait to meet you guys. Sorry, that caught my eye. It was when I was listening to today with Mitchell. And Mitchell, it's funny because generally Mike kind of steers the ship with his podcast, but in this case, he just let Mitchell go.
Yep.
And Mitchell just kind of riffed. He was like a Jimi Hendrix 35-minute solo that just had no end.
Mike was actually doing this. What's next?
Yeah, exactly.
Keep going. Keep going. There was a point in time where Mike was showing a card and Mitchell was just running. And then he pulled it down and showed it later. He's just, once he gets into something, he wants to know everything about it, and he becomes the foremost professional on it. I mean, you want to know about the Diamond Stars set, ask him. He'll tell you all about it, and he knows all about it.
Scott, let me ask you: when you're working, whether it being on a commission piece for artwork, do you have a podcast or a jam that you go to, or do you do it in silence?
Most of the time, I will turn on music. And
what does Scott listen to?
Yes,
Scott listens to stoner rock.
Nice, such as
so like Fu Manchu and Queens of the Stone Age and Clutch and that sort of thing. Like, but I'll mix it up. Like, I'm not limited to that by any means.
Is that stoner rock? Queens of the Stone Age is great. They're a very talented band. Is that stoner rock? Like Stoner Rock to me is like Pink Floyd and the Dead.
No, that's more like 7. Like I don't know.
Right.
That's more classic.
Right.
Yacht rock is Scott's jam.
I could go for some Christopher Cross.
Well, Michael Bublé.
I've been kicking it to some Alice in Chains lately.
But I take a walk every morning, and that's when I listen to like longer YouTube videos.
Okay.
So like midlife cards is in my ear every morning. It's like, stop making so many videos, man.
I absolutely love. I'm a music guy. I love music, and I love all sorts of music. So I saw Alice in Chains for their very first album on tour. It was phenomenal. With Wayne
I wish
Staley.
I could have seen them live. I never saw them.
Yeah, I saw them live with Wayne Staley. It was pretty cool. And they were the first act. It was a 4-band show, and they were the first because it was their first album. So
MC5, that's a good band.
I'm not familiar with them.
MC5, they're from Detroit. So they're like, there's some, like, that's straight up, like, God, it's like kind of along the same lines as like Iggy Pop. That's sort of like very gritty, that gritty rock.
Okay.
MC5, and I think Iggy Pop is also from the similar area. I know this is about cards, but did you know that Iggy Pop almost became the lead singer of the Doors after Morrison died?
I had heard that once before. I have heard that.
Yeah. But the one band who I've been listening to mostly a lot lately is the Deftones.
Great band.
I've seen them live. I saw them live. I saw them with this band Glassjaw open up for them. That was a trip.
I have not seen the Deftones.
Oh, they're good.
I saw them like twice, like when they, like way back in the day. And one of the shows was with Pantera and White Zombie.
Yes.
Wow.
So that was a big show.
Yeah.
That does sound. Was that was that Pantera prior to Dimebag Darrell getting killed, or was that after?
Yeah, that was.
Oh heck yeah, that'd have been way. It was because Pantera is out now, and now Dimebag and his brother passed away. So
right, Vinnie Paul. But now they have Zach Wilde from Black Label Society playing guitar, and then they still have Rex on bass.
I consider Zach Wilde part of Ozzy's regime because he was big on, he came in after Randy Rhoads. But I saw Keith said he saw the same tour. We have chatted before, Keith and I. We saw the same. It was called Clash of the Titans. It was Alice in Chains, Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer. And that was a great show. I was 18 or 19 when I saw that show. It was phenomenal.
Well, you've seen the footage, I'm sure, when they played, like, where they play in Moscow to like 250,000 people. It was Metallica, the big, it was like a big four. Metallica, Anthrax. I can't remember the other two. Was it Megadeth?
Yeah, if it was the big four, it would have been Megadeth, Anthrax. It would have been Megadeth, Anthrax, Metallica, Slayer. But the show in Moscow, I think it was only Metallica.
No, they definitely had it was four of them, I think.
Okay.
But that one, if you ever watch the video of that's just like when the video of Enter Sandman.
And then they actually had like the Russian army in the front. And they had
like helicopters and planes.
Right. And the Russian army was supposed to be like security, and then halfway through the show they took their hats off and they're like headbanging with everybody, and then just like, oh, this is once in a lifetime. So, but as goofy as that is, I'm a huge like jazz guy and blues guy, and I love all of that as well. So I just grew up on metal. Metal was my first love. So, but I love jazz too.
Here's a fun question to ask you guys. Favorite professional wrestler, whether being now or growing up?
You go first, Scott.
I've never liked wrestling.
I was never.
Scott is out. Scott makes thumb war wrestling shirts, but hates wrestling.
I wasn't a huge fan either. I watched for a year or two when I was a kid. I'd probably say the Junkyard Dog, JYD.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, that's how old I am, Sammy. So I didn't watch the Roman Reigns and the John Cena. I was already.
No, I don't watch that much either. It's got to be Jake the Snake Roberts for me.
I remember Jake the Snake.
Mr. DDT. Oh wow. Yeah. As I said that, David Chase. Yep, Jake the Snake. Only the right answer. I'm gonna watch you beg.
I think
I'm gonna make you beg.
JYD was my guy. I think Randy Macho Man actually played minor league baseball, didn't he? Randy Macho Man.
Macho Man, yeah. He played
Yeah.
Randy Poffo.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he actually grew up about 20 minutes away from where I grew up in another suburb. So Roddy Piper's a good one. Dave got
Piper's great. But going
I
to
do have an El Santo mask.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Are you bringing it to Strongsville?
I could. I don't know why, but I could. I got it in LA when I was out there.
Who said George the Animal Steel? My mother.
Bunch of people said George.
My mother,
John,
my mother met George the Animal Steel at the airport.
So Macho was in the Reds farm system.
There you
Imagine
go.
if you played. Oh, Andre the Giant. Yep, bunch of Andre calls now.
So we're all old. These are all old guys. Both of you are younger than me, so that's like old.
Well, for me, I grew up watching in the '90s. I mean, that was the best time to watch pro wrestling was the '90s. You had everything. You had WCW, WWF, and ECW.
What was
Actually, you know what? What's that?
WCW was the Road Warriors, right?
They were. I mean, a lot of wrestlers did. Like a lot of those guys, they moved around. So
right,
they were in WWF and WCW.
Okay.
I regret because I was such a big WCW fan growing up. I regret not being an ECW fan because there were some really amazing moves that were happening then. Like if I had to kind of go back, I'd say RVD is also another big wrestler that I loved watching.
Who is RVD? I don't even know who that is.
Mr. Monday Night, Rob Van Dam.
Oh, okay.
He would do with the thumbs, RVD. So he was like, he'd be called the whole fucking show, Mr. Pay-Per-View. And so when people call me Mr. Livestream, I think of RVD.
Oh, Ric Flair's another one. You got has anybody seen Ric Flair? He's a legend.
Yeah. He's a showstopper. Oh no, the showstopper is Shawn Michaels.
Wow, Sammy, a closet big time wrestling fan.
Oh yeah, I was a huge wrestling fan. Like I said, man, in the '90s, I watched a crap ton of it.
So you were a kid in the '90s, right? A kid,
yeah, teenager.
Yeah. Were you a teenager in the '90s?
In the mid to late '90s.
Mid to late. Okay, yeah.
I know. I know. I'm still a kid compared to you guys.
Right. I'm like I graduated in '91.
I don't know how old you are, Scott. So I'm just assuming here.
He's younger than me.
38 going on 39.
Okay. So I'm like 48, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not too far off.
Yeah.
And then Jason is the elder of the.
I am
the group.
51 and the most immature.
All right, so you guys are closer to each other than I am to you. So.
Yes.
But I'll tell you what.
Was younger than me.
I'm glad I'm not the youngest one in the entire community. That belongs to either Dom, Garrett, or Dom or Garrett.
There's Liam.
Oh, Liam as well. Yes, Liam being I think he's I don't know how old he is. 13 or 14 now.
I think I want to say 15.
15.
Yeah. I think he's a year older than my son.
Okay.
Who was Vintage Goat? Isn't he real young too?
Oh, that was
Keegan.
Keegan, yeah. He hasn't been around. He's doing all right.
I always got a kick out of watching the young kid. Liam, I've actually watched some of his videos too. I don't know him, but I've watched some of his videos. Does he go to spring training every year with his parents?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of those. Yeah.
I imagine. Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember if he was at the National last year. I didn't see him.
I don't think he was.
But yeah, everyone's still in the wrestling.
I know. I see Miss Elizabeth.
Rick apparently is a serious wrestling fan. Miss Elizabeth. Let me go back to another thing he said. Hornswoggle.
I did see a Hacksaw Jim Duggan somewhere there.
Yeah, I mean that's telling me that Rick watches all generations of wrestling because Hornswoggle is like late 2000s, early 2010s.
I don't even know who
Elizabeth
Hornswoggle
is like
is.
80s and 90s.
Does anybody look at Rick and think wrestling fan? Like I look at Rick and I don't think wrestling fan.
I've been to a bunch of events though. I've been to a bunch of pay-per-views. I went to a pay-per-view, WWF pay-per-view in Hartford, Connecticut. ECW pay-per-view, one of their last ones at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York.
Jeez. I've never been to a wrestling event in my life.
You're missing out.
Is it like roller derby? I haven't done roller derby either.
Well,
you're not missing much there.
You've done a roller derby event?
No, I've watched roller derby. My sister-in-law is in it. And it's.
Oh, she does it?
Yeah.
They beat the crap out of each other.
They do.
Let's see. Man, the metal talk and wrestling stuff, Sammy just got a little cooler. I got plenty more, man.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. You know. So let's do
we're into an hour. Do the grand
finale. Why don't we? This is for the Mays. Unfortunately, this one's not nearly as cut as nice, but still presentable.
It's Willie Mays. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right. Let me bring the screen back up. I got 60 people. So you each have a 1 out of 60 chance of of winning.
I hope Scott wins.
All right. Let me shuffle it up a few times. Good
luck.
I'll
win, I'll give it to you, Jason.
Chris is getting it.
I still owe him his. I owe him his from my video, so we'll do combined shipping, Sammy.
This is great. I mean, so all these guys are going to Strongsville, with the exception of Tommy, which maybe he's going. I don't know.
Wait, is Chris going to Strongsville?
Is he? I thought you said he was.
No, Dave is going to Strongsville. I don't know if Chris is.
Oh.
I was gonna mail mine out to Chris, and there's 2 people, and Chris was one of them.
Okay. Well, if he's not going to Strongsville, he'll be at the National, I think. But
text me if he's going to Strongsville, because then I'll just bring it.
Yeah, I'll tell him. So, congrats, Chris, if you're watching. I mean, if he's here in the chat, sometimes he shows up. But I don't know. Otherwise, I'll just Instagram message him and be like, "Hey, man, you want a Willie Mays transagram?" No.
He's another one. He kind of reminds me of Mitchell. The knowledge that he has on what he collects is crazy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna tell him, like, "Hey, man, just squint really hard, and maybe it'll be a T206."
Yeah, it looks small if you close your eyes a little bit. It looks really small.
Disregard that horrible yellow.
What kind of back does it have, though? That's important.
That's the thing. It's a nice cardboard variation. It says Piedmont Special.
You could just write cycle on the back or something like that. Cycle or polar bear. Or...
I like where Matt's head is. Hope this spurs a transagram tattoo. Oh my God, that'd be so hideous. Yellow does not translate well, I don't think, on tattoos. It just does not do well.
Scott, do you have any tattoos?
I do not.
I do not either.
So I have a tattoo story.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah.
For our 10th wedding anniversary, we went to England, my wife and I, and who else would it be? Jason and I went to England.
Yeah, right. We went to England on your 10th anniversary.
So I was going to get a tattoo, and I was really into scooters at the time. I still have a Vespa. So I designed this wasp tattoo with a scooter helmet, and it was pretty neat. And I found a tattoo artist in London that I liked, and I sent him an email and asked if he could do it, and he fit me in. And so we get over there, and we take time out of our day to go to this tattoo parlor, which was in the middle of nowhere, so it was really easy to find. And we're sitting there, and I'm waiting to get this tattoo, and I look up, and it's like absolutely no credit cards. I'm I don't have 250 pounds or whatever it was going to be to get this tattoo. And I was like, so no credit cards, huh? He's like, nope. So I was like, well, he's like, how about I reschedule you for tomorrow? You figure out, how to get that money, and then we'll get this done. And at that point, I was just I looked into it a little bit, but I didn't want the hassle. So I called them back the next day, and I was like, it's not happening, buddy. It's
right.
he said some choice words, but
So you were close.
I was close. I was in the tattoo parlor. If they'd taken credit card, I would have this tattoo now. But
Where was it gonna go?
it would have been on my shoulder.
Nice.
And Sammy, I know you have a couple. Are you waiting? Are you going to continue on, or?
I haven't gotten another tattoo in over 10 years.
Okay.
But I have ideas, but like if I'm going to do something card related, I really have to think about this. um, there's plenty of directions you can go in, but and I definitely have plenty of tattoos that I regret getting, so I don't want another one that I'm going to regret.
Oh, do you really? I mean, you have some that you kind of regret and wish you'd.
Yeah, like the first one I got, I was like 17, and it's such a stupid tattoo.
Okay.
But the sleeves, the I guess you can call them aren't like half sleeves. Those are the most recent ones. The geisha. We have some people call it a geisha. I can't really
Right.
rotate my arm that well. That one is in honor of my grandmother, she's still alive, but she was an opera singer for over 30 plus years.
Oh, you're kidding me. That's cool.
Yeah, and that's where I think that's probably where I get my singing abilities, which not a lot of people know that. I sang in a rock band for 10 or 15 years.
I knew that, and I want to hear it. You need the belt.
No, man, that is locked away in the safe for no ears, nobody's ears.
Is it fair to say that you were doing that in New Orleans?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's one of my favorite cities in the world. So eclectic. I just love New Orleans.
Oh yeah, man. That was fun playing in New Orleans, playing in Texas, traveling the country. It was good times. I was apparently not awake when my bandmates were driving and they saw a UFO, supposedly.
Did they see a UFO, or were they under the influence of other substances?
Well, so that's up for debate. To be fair, we were driving past Maryland, which is known for, they had like an airspace, like an Air Force base right there. I'm thinking, all right, let's be real, guys. You guys just saw a unique aircraft you've never seen before, right? Because it's the Air Force. I mean, it wasn't a UFO. They're like, no, totally it was. Like, I don't know, guys. But
did you guys ever record an album? I mean, were you big enough? Were you cutting albums?
Yeah, no, we cut some records, but nothing really. Like we were kind of like what are they called? Like a word of mouth type band in this sense. We were kind of like an underground scene sort of thing back in the 2000s.
Can you find the albums online? I'll go find one.
I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, when we're offline, I'm going to nag you to tell me.
I'm not sharing that to anybody, man.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck. You're not gonna find it.
I actually had two friends that my best friend is actually a music teacher, an orchestra teacher now. But two of my good friends majored in college in music, and my one buddy got his master's, and it was a guitarist and a bass player, and they were pretty prominent in the local scene in Chicago with a really good band, and they used to open for a band that got big enough where they were signed by a major label. If you're not, I don't know if you're familiar with the Freddie Jones Band. So it's kind of In a Daydream was their big song, but they used to play with the Freddie Jones Band all the time because they kind of came up right after that band in the local bar in the city of Chicago in Wrigleyville. It was literally 2 blocks away from Wrigley Field. It was called Wrigley Side Tap. So my friends would play there every weekend, and then every year they'd do the celebration of the bar, and Freddie Jones Band would come in, and it would be packed and a good time, but a lot of fun. So, part of my love of music is, and I grew up with these guys, and I played guitar with them and then quit promptly. And, I'm not good, but they went on and actually made careers out of it. So it's kind of cool.
It's a very difficult thing to do, to go on tour, because when you're an unsigned band going on tour, you invest a lot of money into a van, which we slept in a lot of the times because we didn't want to pay for a hotel.
Right.
So we'd sleep in the van. I'm trying to remember. I mean, I just remember days going to like the Denny's in West Virginia, and you could still smoke inside. And so we'd go into Denny's, and we had our roadie at the time. With his last name was Denny, so he told the manager that his family owned the Denny's organization, and we were like this close to getting a free breakfast.
Which is huge when you have no money. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. Those were good times, man. Those were really good times. Just thinking about it now.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, but yep. No, not really quite like that. I don't have the tongue like Gene Simmons does.
By the way,
played the bass.
John knew someone in AFI. AFI was a pretty big band. So.
Oh man, now we're going into the kind of like the screamo emo screamo.
Yeah, that was a pretty big band actually.
Moment. Yeah.
My buddy's library teacher, the librarian at his high school was Tom Morello's mother from Rage Against the Machine, and
yeah, for Illinois. Yeah, they're from Illinois.
and Waukegan, I think.
That was Adam Jones O'Toole played in a high school band with Tom Morello.
The
Electric Sheep.
And then Billy Corgan grew up in Wrigleyville.
But nobody likes Billy Corgan.
I liked the Smashing Pumpkins. I liked him. He's a huge Rush fan, so he gets some props from me. He's a big Rush fan. So
I almost left because you played Rush in the intro there.
Yeah. That was there's something about that song, the spirit of radio.
Spirit of Radio. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's a great intro because you really get everybody from that band's contribution. You get Neil Peart with his classic drum rolls and fills. You get what's his name, Alex Lifeson's guitar work, and of course you get the fellow collector himself, Geddy Lee. Yeah, that video of him with all of this collection of signed baseballs. That's crazy how much stuff he has.
He donated a lot of it. So if you go to the Negro League Hall of Fame in Kansas City, I went to it about a year ago, and there's a whole wall of signed Negro League players, and the plaque says donated by Geddy Lee. So
there's something of Geddy Lee's that's in an auction right now. I can't remember if it's REA or Leland's or Sterling, but there's something of Geddy Lee's in auction right now.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go buy it just because he owned it. I don't even care what it is. I'm a nerd, diehard Rush fan.
Section 36.
So
that's oh man, all the indie crowd loved Gish, hated after Siamese Dream. Yeah, there's a great somebody created this great video GIF of like a roller coaster, where it's like going up and it's playing what song is it by Smashing Pumpkins? I can't remember.
Rat in a Cage?
No. Oh god, I can't remember it. But it's essentially you know what, I'm gonna find it. I'll just find the GIF and play it because I think it's hilarious.
This is bad because there are several things. As much as I love baseball cards, I could talk music all day long, and there's one other hobby that I enjoy as much as baseball cards, but I try not to talk about it too much. So I need to talk about it with Petty because it's poker, and I know he was big into poker back in the day, so I need to talk to him about that.
All right, so I think I found the video. Let me. It's like 13 seconds long, so it's really fast, but it always gives me a good chuckle. 1970. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, 1970. Is it 75? 1975, I think.
That's it.
So you have no liking for the Smashing Pumpkins, then, do you?
No. I joke around. I just because it's just funny.
1979. Ruben Schneider's got it. Yeah.
Oh man, Matt did some digging. Matt, you keep that to yourself. That's one of the bands. Keep it to yourself.
Oh, wait,
Oh, I found
there's
one.
several bands?
What? Yeah, there's several bands. There's one that was
check.
there's one that was electronic focused, and then there's one that was like there's a bunch that but the one that Matt named is not me singing. That was me mostly doing the programming because I'm a big synth nerd as well. So I collected a lot of. Thank you, Matt. He texted me out of courtesy, and I think Scott looks like he found something too. So
Dang it, Scott! You're gonna tell me after we're done here.
But yeah, Specs. I just named it. But yeah, I'm so stupid. Yeah, that was there was one band that was electronic driven. That was not me singing. That was my buddy who did most of the singing, and it really wasn't singing. It was more like kind of Trent Reznor-ish, if that makes any sense.
Yep, that makes total sense.
So that was.
So then you've got to dig like the late '80s Rush with all the synth work that they did on like Grace Under Pressure.
So I grew up as well listening to a lot of the like industrial stuff as well. I mean, that was like Nine Inch Nails and
right.
There's a bit like I became buddies with. I don't know if you ever heard the band Skinny Puppy from Vancouver.
I'm familiar with the band.
Yeah, these guys were like, very heavy industrial stuff, and so I mean that was something I grew up with, and I became actually I wouldn't say good friends with them, but I became I knew them a little bit better than most people do, but yeah, that was a different time, fun times, and the band that Matt found that was definitely inspired by a lot of that style of stuff. I think we also liked, oh god, My Bloody Valentine. That was another band I really liked. Shoegaze style stuff. old commercial we sold at Strongsville. Oh man, if you could find it. I actually do have a shirt from one of my bands still, but it's too small for me now. If you can imagine, I mean, I know I'm skinny. I know I'm like skinny, but I used to be a lot skinnier. So
I think with Scott's crack research, he needs to look up a logo and do a shirt of the logo.
Oh god, the logos back then. So the band that Matt found, which I imagine is the one that Scott found, the logo was done by an artist friend of ours in New Orleans, and great artist. She did some really really cool work, and she was probably out of all the bands that have been in, that was the best logo.
Sammy, there's a bar in New Orleans, and you'll laugh at this. I took my wife is like the polar opposite of me, so I'm like loud and in your face. My wife is very quiet and reserved and conservative, and I took her like one of the many times, and then we had to go every year. There's a heavy metal bar right in the French Quarters, and I remember just stumbling upon it. And it's like off one of the side streets. It's not on Bourbon.
Oh, I know exactly what it is.
And I remember walking in and they were playing Slayer, and I was losing my mind. I'm like,
it probably was the Dungeon.
I think that's what it was. Yes. So my wife is decked out in like nice clothes. And,
oh god, the wrong place to go for that.
She knows. We're sitting at the bar and they were playing like Slayer, and then and this was later and like more recently, so it was like Lamb of God and just all this hardcore heavy stuff. I'm like, this is the greatest bar ever. I think there was a woman sitting next to me, and I was talking to her about Slayer's last album, Repentless. If you ever get a chance, I inspire all of those. If you want to just get totally grossed out, look up Slayer Repentless video, and then it's just Danny Trejo's in it though. So that's
wow,
Machete's in that video. So you check it out.
So Jason, do you like Kuma's?
I'm not familiar. What is Kuma's?
It's a heavy metal bar in Chicago.
I'm not familiar with it. There's one on where is it? Do you know where it is?
I think there's a couple locations.
Because there's a heavy metal bar on the what I call the near south side, South Loop, that I discovered a couple of years ago. That's pretty awesome, and I don't know the name of it. But we were going to a Bears game, my dad and I, and we walked into this bar and they had like Iron Maiden posters, and I'm like, all right, this place is awesome. I started talking to the bartender, and I guess I had just missed Kerry King, the guitarist from Slayer, has just started another band. and he played there like 2 weeks prior. I'm like, oh my god! So I missed that, but I'm not familiar with Kuma's. I'll have to.
Kuma's is 2900 West Belmont.
Okay. Oh, really? That's not far from my. That's not far from where I lived in the city. Wow, I have to check that out. I do know all of the blues bars, and I know the jazz bars. There's a very famous jazz bar called the Green Mill. That was it was a bootlegging bar back during Prohibition, and a couple movies have been done there. It's a great jazz bar. I'm trying to think of the blues bar in Wrigleyville. I can't think of it now. Oh, Kingston Mines is a great blues bar in Chicago, the Blue Note. So I did a lot of that when I was in the city. As much as I love metal, I didn't like really, I was already, and I lived in the city. Christ, I'm 51. I lived in the city in my early 20s. But now my daughter lives in the city. So we talk about, she's like, Dad, have you ever been here? Have you ever been there? And I said, half of the stuff that I was at, honey's probably gone. So it was 25 years ago. So.
Mike, I was been in bands probably since 2004, 2004, and then I stopped really kind of being in bands probably by the time like in 2017 maybe. Yeah, probably around the last time.
That's not that long ago, Sammy.
No, but it feels like a long time ago. When you find your future wife, things kind of you can't go you can't go on the road or. Although my wife she'd be very understanding. What's that?
What are you going to make Mookie and Pete listen to on the way to Strongsville?
I think I think I'm flying solo because I'm leaving on Wednesday night.
Oh, okay.
But if I were driving with them, that's a good question. I'd probably play Meshuggah.
Great band.
Yeah, but that would blast. That would Pete and Mookie would be fearful. I'd probably play a little bit of Dying Fetus, maybe. These are just bands I would scare them with. Maybe let's see what other bands.
Little King Diamond, Merciful Fate.
Sure, man. I'm just trying to think. What was the band in Ace Ventura, Pet Detective? He has to go.
Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, oh hell yeah, Cannibal Corpse. There you go. There's still a possibility that I may not. I may go on Thursday as well. We'll see.
Mookie looks like a Fintroll fan.
What's that?
Mookie looks like a Fintroll fan.
I think Mookie's probably got a pretty eclectic taste in music. I would like to talk music with
his
Mookie.
records all have pinholes in them.
I got to talk to Alex. Alex is a big jazz fan, and I just picked up on it from his videos. And I don't think he believed me. He was in my car at the National, and my car's older, and I still have a CD player in it. So I've got a stack of CDs, a big book, and I said, go through it and pick out what you want. And there was Dave Brubeck in there, and Miles Davis, and John Coltrane. I'm like, pick out what you want, man. And we were listening to it. So
there's a picture somewhere of I went to a festival in Houston. You guys ever listen to Thundercat?
No, I used to watch the cartoon though.
Well, there's a musician named Thundercat who is really just one of the best bassists you've ever listened to. I saw him play at this place called the Blue Note in New York City, which is a jazz club, and he does mostly kind of like a fusion style of different music, but it's really good stuff.
So do you know who Victor Wooten is?
I've heard of Victor Wooten.
He was in a band called Bella Fleck and the Flecktones.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, the lead Bella Fleck was a banjo player. But Victor Wooten's an incredible bassist. I like Jaco Pastorius, if that's older stuff, Return to Forever. Like the Chick Corea era. He was an incredible bass player. Stanley Clarke is kind of a funk fusion kind of guy. So
I'm trying to see if there's any photos that I can find of any days in the band.
Did you have like the emo haircut, Sammy? Was your hair
I don't think so. Here, I found I used to, so I worked at Apple for many years when I was, younger, and I'll show this photo because this one's amazing because I had no idea who it was at first, and I'll see if you guys can figure it out. I mean, hint, hint. It's a famous musician. This goes back. This is from like 2007, I believe. So I'm gonna share this one right now. That is yours truly.
Ace Frehley.
That is Ace Frehley. Wow.
Ace Frehley. Yeah.
Right away. You knew right away, man.
Yeah.
I had and I'm crossing my arms, and he has his arm around me. I love like the lack of respect. Like, how could
Holy
I?
Christ, you look like you're 12 years old, Sammy.
Yeah, man. So that's incredible that you're able to get that right away.
I was a big Kiss fan. That was I was about 12 years old when I got into Kiss, and that was Kiss and Ozzy were my first bands that got me into metal, and then I went hardcore heavy real fast. So Pantera, Slayer, all the good stuff.
So I had no idea. I didn't. I mean, obviously, when I think of Kiss, I just think of the makeup. I don't know what they look like without the makeup. So I had no idea who that was.
Right.
And I was working at Apple at that point, and I sold them a computer. And at that time, Apple employees were allowed to bring stuff. If you needed help bringing stuff to your car, you would do that. So I brought his computer to his car. He found out that I play keyboards, and he's like, "Hey, let me take your number down." So he gives me like a Papa John's promotion like thing, and he has me write my number down. Never got the call, unfortunately, but that's okay.
Mookie's got it, the hottest band in the world, Kiss. I have some of their original vinyl with the books in them, with all the pictures. So,
well, how young would Sammy? That's right. You guys have never seen me without a beard. Yeah, that's I've had a beard since this is a COVID project. So.
Oh, it is the COVID. So you've had it that long. How about you, Scott?
I've had my beard like 20 years.
Wow. I don't think you guys have ever seen me with one. I did about a 2-year stint. See, I like Scott's because it's all one consistent color. So I'm like right down the middle, gray and black. So it looks awful. I'm like, oh God. So I shave it off. But it was hiding the double chin for several years, which was nice. So
you need to bring that back for April.
I could bring it. You want me to bring it back? It's embarrassing, but I'll bring it back. I don't care.
Yeah. I'm trying to see. Play his Papa John. Oh man. All right, gents. Well, listen, we've been at it for about an hour and a half, and I think it's time to call it a rest. We've given out all the prizes. I think Stephen with a PH did show up eventually. So Stephen, if you are still here, you did win a prize. Just want to let you know. You won a Lee May Flair 91 card. That's a lot of money. So secure it. I'll bring it with me to Strongsville. I think and then we have Chris and Dave. Dave won the Brock. And the Maz went to the guy, Tommy Hazelwood. So we'll see if he gets to me or not, gets back to me.
Nice.
Is there anything else you guys want to mention before we finish?
No, this was a lot of fun just hanging out. We didn't talk cards too much. We didn't show a card, you did, I guess. But I had a blast just hanging out.
Here's a wrapper.
Perfect.
Here's a
I thought we were done talking about music. You're mentioning rappers.
Oh.
There's a Billy Pierce rookie card, 51 Bowman.
Okay.
So
there's your cards.
There you go, man. You guys got your fix.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, as always, thank you, Scott. Thank you for taking the time. I know you have a super busy schedule, so I appreciate you.
Thank you, Sammy.
Of course. And we're going to be back in 2 weeks because I am not here next week. So you get a break. And I'll just take over for you. There you go.
Me and Jason.
We'll do the we'll do the Mike Trout episode in 2 weeks. Is that episode number 20? He's 27, right? Number 27?
He is 27, I believe you're correct.
Yeah, so we need to find somebody who does Mike Trout collecting.
Yeah, no one in our community.
Perfect. All right. Thank you guys so much again. Thank you everybody in the chat for participating. It was a good time, good chat. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Rock on.